Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the Gaia Daily for April 24th, 25th, 2020. How are you doing? Well, we've still got the moon in Taurus as we are examining and feeling into these Taurus energies. The sun rapidly approaching its exact conjunction with Uranus. We're going to feel this most intensely over the next 3-4 days. The exact happens on Sunday and Monday in the Eastern Hemisphere. And so this Sun conjunct Uranus in Taurus is bringing forward all of the energies of what it means for Uranus to be in Taurus and for our messages about how to move into the Aquarian Age, as Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius. So the Sun is who we think we are, our identity, how we want to shine and express ourselves. And coming up with Uranus, it's like, who are you? Right? Now, this is a big question for these souls. And I think maybe the core essence of what's going on here in the process of awakening of these souls, which the souls that are drawn to this work, if you can handle listening to this, if you're like vibrationally in tune, this is you. And that means that you have had lots of experiences in whole other evolutions. You've gone through spiritual ascension before, maybe unconsciously more. We're doing it consciously this time, but still, you have the codes and knowledge somewhere within you of what in the heck we're doing here, even though you feel like you don't, right? We are the leaders of the plan, and that we don't get to know what the plan is, right? But this is the biggest core issue I find in these soul groups is that they don't know who they are. And part of what we're here to do, or the thing we're here to do, which is really interesting because it's spiritual ascension, right? Which is rising frequencies, right? But the way we spiritual ascend on the planet is these souls who are on the cutting edge of spiritual ascension, even though, you don't quite know who you are, or what you're doing, but to embody. There's a way bigger part of yourself that you don't even know who you are. This is very connected to the Uranus energies because Uranus represents our higher self, a connection to our higher self, communication to our higher or future self, ancient wisdom, and future technology, which kind of come together. This is our time that we live in, right? Like there's all these technologies available in our world, and yet we're not told about them. And we are quarantined as far as Earth in its greater galactic role, right? And the true history, if we had the true history of humanity, we would have these technologies, and then they wouldn't be able to be used against us. And this is this turning point that we're at, right? So, but for you, your role, because you have experience in these working with this ancient wisdom and future technologies, and this bigger, wider, massive spiritual self that you don't even know who you are. And our job here seems to be to land this home, which is opposite of what we were being told, that whole energy of spiritual ascension, right? Rising frequencies and the higher, and I've been talking a lot, I know, broken record about the higher frequency vibrations. And yet these souls across the board, I'm hearing that, like, if you can separate yourself from the play of events, and how it's affecting your daily life and your feelings of responsibility towards the earth and the garbage of the soup of the collective consciousness, your responsibility contracts, if you can give yourself a break from that energy, people are reporting all over the place, these souls that's like, I feel better than I have in so long, because the lower matrix is being dismantled. The lower matrix was designed specifically to keep humanity, as slaves and in prison, planet Earth, but particularly you, because you're supposed to lead the way for this awakening. And so it's like, am I really being let out of the pen? Is it really okay? And then there's a lot of stuff that comes up. Am I worthy? Do I deserve it? Is it okay? Is it safe? Are they going to come for me? And then, of course, kind of back and forth between these energies. But the energy of this Uranus and Taurus being so activated, the moon's still in Taurus today, the sun coming up in this exact conjunction, is about this coming home to the reality that we're here to come home and embody our star self, right? Spirituality up to this point has been about going out, raising your kundalini, and like journeying to these other worlds. And it's like, you're more comfortable in those other worlds. And somehow maybe there's like this other part of you that's like, it's like you have just a sliver of who you are here. There's like a placeholder in your life and in your body. And our role in this spiritual ascension is to actually land home, to come home, to incarnate that bigger self. That bigger self is kind of like, doesn't know what's going on here in the earth realm, right? It's like, it's kind of cumbersome in the earth realm. Like there's some adjustment. So, huge energies with this Taurus energy of self-care, taking care of yourself, because this embodiment is like being reborn, and brand new babies are very vulnerable. They can't take care of themselves. They need lots of good food and warmth and love and attention and to be held. And so it's kind of like, oh yeah, landing your bigger star self. That sounds really great, right? But your bigger star self doesn't know how to function here. So there's an adjustment that needs to be made. And that's why it's like this gradual process too, because the energies on the earth need to change. Then you can bring yourself in a little bit more. And then that changes the earth a little bit more, helps other souls, and so a lot of the energy is like the new babies, actual babies being born on the planet are super high vibration light beings, right? And then they're changing the vibration to give you permission to come in. And then you're changing the vibration to give them permission to come in. And we're just inching it up, And know that it can be a gradual process. Sometimes it feels overwhelming and like you lose sense of reality and how to manage just daily life, which is actually really good that we have this like quieting down of things right now. But this is our role here, is to land home, be here, fully embody this bigger star self and connect with the earth, right? The only reason that you've gone through all this and bothered with this nightmare of earth evolution, at least through these past ages, is for this. And now it's happening, right? So we can't like just stand on the edge and be a spectator anymore. That's not you, right? Now it's interesting because it's like, as that soul that's here to lead the way, that means you've had probably a lot of difficulties in this life and previous lifetimes, and diving deep into the darkest times on planet Earth, incarnating at the darkest moments in order to hold space for the light. And here you are once again, right? Supposedly there's a whole lineup of souls that wish they could be here right now. I don't know if that's helpful, but this is what we came for. And this is who you are. And so there's twofold energy here. It's like embodying and landing home our star self and connecting to the earth. Because the earth is like a cosmic being who's been waiting for her cosmic awakening, right? It's almost like Gaia, the true goddess Gaia, is kind of had to exist outside of Gaia for a while. And now it's like, so she's embodying her bigger spiritual self. Now, maybe that's a helpful way to look at it. So it's like, we need to connect with that bigger spiritual self of Gaia. And then as find permission and take care of ourselves and love ourselves enough to embody this bigger self, trust, allow that 0 degrees north node in Cancer, like, can you be nurtured in this world when you thought everything here was to work against you? Because it was, because as a leader of spiritual ascension awakening, of course, you're going to be targeted, right? But now it's different. So what I'm seeing, what I've been shown, is that all these wild, just so powerful souls, you have no idea who you are because you were told that you were nothing, right? Again and again and again. And you're just standing at the threshold, looking at this new earth energy. And what's it going to take for us to step over that, right? And that's the energy of this time with the sun in Uranus. It's like, who are you? You don't know who you are, but you know that you're not who you are. So it's time to land home. And so I have set another world meditation for tomorrow called embodiment. And so we're going to work on this concept of how do we come in? How do we step over that threshold, stabilize these higher frequency vibrations, not something we're looking at. Like it's almost like we're looking at it in this case, like there's this locked case and it's got this beautiful new earth 5D technicolor thing. And it's like, oh, that's so pretty. When will I earn the jewel? It's like, oh, you are the jewel. So then we have maybe permission to go and visit this jewel and look at it. But now it's time to bring it back home into our heart, the truth of who we are, and own it fully and completely. And the only way, the key to this embodiment has to do with whether or not you're willing to hold sacred your divine gifts, right? So what you've been doing is leaking it out to everybody around you codependently, right? Because that's just what these souls do. Because it's like if you're programmed to fear your own potency, you don't know who you are, you've been treated horribly, and it's like in order to survive and get by and get what you need, you got to like take care of everybody else on a psychic level. You don't even know you're doing it. These souls, a lot of times when I do look at individual sessions, thousands of people in your field, right? You don't even know you're doing this. It's exhausting. And you've got to tell the universe that you and your higher self that you're willing to hold precious and sacred the gift you are, right? If you're not willing to, how can they help you do it? How can they feel safe coming and landing here if you're not going to hold precious, right? It's like, oh, somebody's going to gift you all these beautiful treasures and jewels, and you're just going to like put them out to display in your front yard. And if people want to take them, that's okay. I don't know, it's an analogy, but anyway, so meditation tomorrow at the same time as the last Saturdays that I've done. This is embodiment world meditation, and it's about how do we bring our bigger star self home? How do we stabilize in these higher frequency vibrations? And how do we connect to the earth and understand that we're doing this process together of embodiment? And then using our collective consciousness to support this process for all of us. So I hope I see you there at noon Mountain Time tomorrow. So 11 a.m. on the West Coast and 2 p.m. on the East Coast. And again, if you can't make it live in your time zone, the energy's encoded. It's there for you. And I hope you can join that world meditation. So I look forward to seeing you soon there tomorrow. No videos this weekend, just the world meditation, but I will see you again on Monday. I hope you have a wonderful weekend of embodiment. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.